usual check-in protocol in the Lagos International Airport. So I'll also showcase how the Kigali International Airport is updated. Basically, going 300. Let me see what Boeing we have. Yes, so it's 373 800. That's what we have here. So we'll be flying. Obviously, there's no entertainment on the flight, so we are going to make do with what we have on our phones. Yep. So, guys, on the other side. Bye. That's the version of the in-flight entertainment. My abode in the next 1 week. Hotel Lamigo Hotel. It's quite fascinating. So there's a bit of confusion here. Obviously, the hotel overbooked for the night, and they are going to take us to an annex hotel that they have and bring us back here tomorrow. For all of us, the participants that were originally booked here. It's been a long day for me traveling, and I'm tired and I really need to rest. So I'm hoping that they will be able to sort me out and so that I can rest. That's how hotel looks like. A cozy place. Yeah, I can see. Okay. Imagine.
You have to go up and down.
Yeah, actually, that's what I noticed, that it's very undulating, as you can see. Yeah, so, wow. So the airport is that way?
Yeah, it's that way.
Okay.
Where you're coming from.
Nice. Yeah, really is it's quite undulating. Interesting. Okay. That's Kigali.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the swimming pool.
That is a swimming pool.
Okay. All right.
So are you in Kigali for the holidays
or? Yes, for the whole week.
I'm
here till
so
Saturday. So that is rolling me to my room now. I'm going to be on the 8th floor, and that is room 11. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so this is where I'll be staying for the night.
That's your home.
Yes, my home for the next time I'll be here. Thank you. This looks good. Drop this here. Then there's TV. So the bathroom looks like. Yes, so it looks like a hotel. So everything here looks good. Thank you. This is Kigali from my room. Morning time. It looks like the airport is on that side, the hill there. It's quite undulating hills. I love the fact that there's a green area in the middle of town. It's quite interesting. the swimming pool. So we're here trying to register park. So many crowd. So walking towards the park here. Everything seems to be going on well. I'm going towards the pavilion here. So we are waiting for the opening ceremony of APAC. Waiting for the opening ceremony.
To nature conservation in Africa. In fact, it inspires us to recognize that there is no cookie-cutter approach to conservation action. Conservation action will need to look differently in every continent and in every region in order to protect nature and wildlife while ensuring the social and economic well-being of its people. And I'd like to also take this opportunity, each representing and protecting some of the awe-inspiring areas are not only conserved and protected, but are restored. Where custodian communities are not excluded, but are empowered. Where women and youth are authentically engaged and where
the Minister of Environment, Republic of Rwanda, Jean Jawa Maria, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Vincent Bitara, Director General of IUCA, Bruno Morale, community leaders, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I take primary advocate of the protection of wildlife and their habitats as an essential part of modern and prosperous Africa. AWF has had an order of partnering with the government that we lead as one species. We promote sustainable development and conserve Africa's cultural heritage and traditions. The natural heritage that is so important for brand Africa and for our identity as Africans. Protected areas are also source to our basic needs in relation to healthy agricultural soils we need for our food security, providing our livelihoods and assets for economic development. It's a heritage that is so essential to the entire world. Some of the mega natural settings are only found on this continent. It is protected areas that have brought us here, but it's also wildlife that maintains the ecosystem services that these protected areas host. It is the fate of these crucial landscapes and wildlife that will dictate the future of Africa and the Africa we shall have to leave to our next generation. This is human footprints, driven most economic gains and our short-term mindedness. This slide here is a projection of how human footprints will look like by 2050 with a similar trajectory. But it's not too late to change, and it's not gloom and doom. Africa still.
African Protected Areas Congress Youth Delegation that's covering all regions across Africa, representing 23 countries in Africa and 65 passionate youth
from more than 50 African nations. I cannot state enough how important this Congress is for nature, for the continent, and for the world. This is the first time African leaders, citizens, and stakeholders are gathering to conserve Africa's rich natural heritage for the benefit of its people and the environment.
The areas. And these, even if the investment is very small, we are giving so few back to nature. The return is 1 to 10, 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000.
It's a general of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, Mr. Kadu Sebunya, the CEO and the President of the African Wildlife Foundation, distinguished guests. As we gather here today to discuss the critical role of protected areas in Africa, it gives me has been transformed from a degraded wetland to an educational and recreational facility. But as much as the tourism income is vital for Rwanda, this is not what primarily drivers
programs, projects.
Plenary session
That's
going
why
on
you can
after
see
the
that
opening ceremony.
in this room,
So,
the Minister of Environment
Minister of
is seated
Environment of Rwanda.
with the Minister of Finance for her to understand that when she's doing planning in finance, the environment should be earning. We earn resources from those gorillas, and we give 10% of the revenue.
Pan-African action to support conservation activities in the continent. First, I think we need a very strong, measurable, and sovereign, individual sovereign commitment from nations in Africa for the expansion and preservation of protected areas, for us to meet the minimum standard of 25% conservation. And two, I think that we need to, in our national plans, each country to prioritize nature and development in line with SDGs. Thirdly, I think we need a broad stakeholder engagement from the community to the youth to the elders and in fact to law enforcement so that we can begin to look at.
And that is how we are going to be empowering ourselves to do things ourselves. Thank you very much for this honor.
Nature conservation to economic activity. In other words, to economic return. But it's not always that protecting nature and biodiversity results in an income for the country, results in jobs. It's not always. In many cases it is. In your country, you've been able to show for decades already you're teaching the rest of us. But it's not always the case. There could be sensitive ecosystems that need protection that's not going to attract tourists, for example. How do we justify doing something in those situations? Because we have to.
That is what we call investment of the future. Some things must be invested for you to benefit. The problem is we have not invested. We have just inherited. And then we are taking little opportunity. Having a small lodge here or a small lodge here, that is not big business. And that's why tourism relies 85% on SMEs. And during the pandemic, most of them got shuttered. So some things we must bite the bullet. And we must say, this we don't compromise. Wetlands as an important. Yeah? Protected areas, wildlife as important. But also we can be clever. we can turn around that to benefit, to bring benefit. As I say, we have the brains also locally in Africa. We can think beyond just protection. We can get value. It will be benefit, and it will benefit for the GDP rather of individuals. Sometimes we are very parochial. We think small. We need to think big. It's the scale. That's why I say it's only governments have the machinery and the power to have a social impact. So my appeal, let's invest in good governance, good institution, good governance, and you will see the impact will be bigger than the little talking that we receive currently.
Understand that we can survive as human beings if nature is conserved. So as a corollary to that, it is important that we pursue a twin community approach of both human and nature preservation. And I think key to that is actually funding of community resilience. What we did from Nigeria's example.
Honorable ministers and eminent persons, heads of institutions, delegations, members of the media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank the government of Rwanda once again for being such a gracious host in this beautiful city of Kigali. Your Excellency, we do sincerely appreciate the welcome and hospitality we have been accorded here. Today, we are here to celebrate what I believe marks a turning point for Africa's conservation efforts. It will be a defining moment because what we are launching today is meant to secure the future of conservation by providing a lasting solution to the funding crisis that has bedeviled protected and conserved areas across Africa for decades. I'm referring to a Pan-African Conservation Trust, APAC, an ambitious initiative spearheaded by the African Protected Areas Directors and supported by the African Wildlife Foundation, the Consortium for African Funds for the Environment, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and a host of others in the lead up to the IUCN Africa Protected Area Conference. Globally, it is estimated that there is a funding gap of US 700 billion, about 1% of global GDP, when it comes to halting biodiversity loss and restoring our natural systems. Closer home, in Africa, we have estimated that we need around 7 billion annually to effectively manage the existing protected area state. We will need more at this state when it grows. And while throughout this conference, we expect to hear how investments into our protected areas can 6 million square kilometers of conservation stay in Africa on a sound footing. A Pan-African Conservation Trust aims to change that. Designed as a complement to the existing financing, it is in this spirit of hope and aspiration that I am glad to officially unveil and launch a Pan-African Conservation Trust, an African-led solution to invest in our protected and conserved areas so that they endure and so that we all prosper. I thank you and God bless you all.
Yeah, so that's the view from my hotel from the convention center. That's Hotel Eagle. And then this is the convention center I was looking at yesterday. Also, the beer is the national color of Rwanda. So tonight we are having the cocktail in welcoming